Good evening, all. I want to talk today about probably what I think is the most upsetting statistic or fact about the cost of living crisis. Because when I hear people saying that they don't have enough money to have a house, I don't really care. I don't really care about it myself. I just bring light to it when I talk about it. When I hear people saying that they don't have enough money to finance a Mercedes, I couldn't care less, right? Things like that are a shame. It's a shame that you can't have nice things or own your own house, I really agree. But, you know, when we start to think about things much further down the line, like people saying that the economic situation is that bad, that they think that they can't ever afford to have children, I think that's when we're in a really worrying phase for two reasons. Number one, I think that's probably pretty soul destroying. The concept of not being able to have children, not because you don't want them, not because you literally can't have them, but because you can't afford them, seems to be like, not to use the analogy, but the most matrix-minded thing ever, in the sense that your financial situation, the money that you are making or not making, is the determining factor in what you can afford in terms of actually passing your genetics on. That's the most worrying thing that I've probably heard in regards to anything in a very long time. But with that being said, as someone who grew up poor, having no money is not necessarily a fun thing. And I understand where these people are coming from. And it's not entirely their fault, because not everyone can make 100k plus a year, or 50, or even 30. Some people do the most basic menial jobs, and that's fine, or it should be. Now, the reason why I think this is completely unacceptable is because children are the most crucial thing for an economy. Because people are the most crucial thing for an economy. Because adults are the most crucial thing for an economy. Children turn into adults. It's obvious common sense. It's not economics, it's common sense. If children will one day be adults, why are we not investing in our children as a society? Why are we living in a society where an increasing number of people say they're not having kids not because they don't want them, because they can't afford them? You know, it's leading to a point where we're going to probably see, if this is a wide-scale thing, a population decline. And it seems to be that we're already seeing that. But to what extent is that going to continue? Now, some countries seem to have this mastered. Some countries seem to realise that the only answer to building a prosperous nation is to create more jobs, to create more opportunities, to have a stronger workforce, to have a stronger army, and that all requires people, right? If we have a massive population shortage, we're probably going to see economic decline. We're probably going to lose competitiveness in this country and a lot of other countries around the world economically, because there's not the people to keep an economy of this size going. And never mind the economic aspect of it, like I say, it's just a worrying thing in general. The fact that we live in an economy where this is the case, the fact that we live in a world where this is the case, is kind of not right. And people take two minds to this, right? People really do take two minds to this. I know a lot of people who will probably say, nope, if you don't have an X amount of money in your account, you should not have kids, you can't have kids. And, you know, they're probably right. But in reality, a kid is going to grow up to be an adult is going to grow up to be a taxpayer. Let's move that chair back. An adult's going to grow up to be a taxpayer and a contributor to society. Society needs people in it to do jobs, to do tasks, and the fact that people are having children less and less because they can't afford it, I don't think it's a good situation to be in. I really don't think that sounds like a good stage to be at, a good position to be in at all. I think the only answer to all of this it is to bring back the concept of being able to have a family, because like I say, this is a kind of situation where it's not because people are not wanting children. Some people obviously don't. A lot of people do. It's not because people are not necessarily able to find a partner. It's not necessarily because people are physically unable to have a child. It seems to be just an economically related thing, and that is very, very worrying. You know, where do we go from there? What is the point in anything if, never mind owning a house or a car, you can't even have a child? Now, maybe these people are completely misguided, and myself, I'd probably still have a kid anyway, because I think there's not really much more valuable in the world than having a child if that is what you want. Not everybody wants one. I definitely don't want one at this stage. But with that being said, you know, if you're mentally right and you got to that stage, it's probably what you want. And if it is, the concept of not even being able to pass your DNA on and have children because you didn't make 100k, where does that lead to, right? Where does that lead to for people's mental health? Where does that lead to for society as a whole? And I know people are going to say, well, that's not realistic. The government does support people. You can get benefits and child support, but realistically, that is not that much money at all. It's really not. And the amount of budget that seems to be going towards children, it seems to be less and less. It seems like the education system for the children that obviously do exist is simply focused on exams. It seems that school meals are substandard in most schools. This is one of those videos where I'm more so talking about a topic, if you get what I mean. And what I mean by that is this. On a video like this, I can't say I have any answers, I just have opinions. You know, you may think it's completely wrong. You may think that the concept of people not being able to afford children is simply not realistic, and anybody can afford children if they work hard enough. But then when do you have time to spend time with those children? And I'm not the kind of person who's saying this for myself, because I've not done the maths. I don't have a child. I don't want a child. Yet. And with that all being said, it's probably another one of these videos that's going to be a little bit controversial, like some of them are. It's probably going to have divided opinions, and that's okay. Let us know in the comment section what you think, because this really is one of those topics that I've just found out about, because the more I make videos on these sorts of things, the more people are telling me about, and the more I'm hearing, and the more I'm seeing. I think it just like pops up, you get in a loop or something, and some of it is absolutely shocking, and I think it's one of these things. I think this is one of the most shocking parts that I've seen about the entire concept of a cost of living crisis. So let us know. Anyway, I'll end that one there. See you soon.